Hello everyone. Am I audible now? All right. Awesome, awesome. I think there was an issue with the mic. No worries. Let's wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll get started. Until then, please also confirm if you are able to see my screen. All right, awesome. Let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. We have more and more people joining in, so let's give them a couple of minutes. Hey Sam, are you in? Is that you? All right. We looks like we have almost everyone up. Right, one more joining. All right. People are, getting all right, all right. Let's give it one more minute and then we'll get started. Today's class is going to be a very practical one, and it's going to be a lot of learning for you guys who want to set up, accounts for campaigns on DV360 platform. If you're absolutely new to this, then this will give you an overview and an idea of how the platform works. We also have Santosh today, so he'll also be covering a particular part of the session today. All right, so then let me introduce you to Santosh. He's my ex-colleague. We worked together in Google, and you know, did some awesome stuff. Initially, he was into marketing and then, got into DV360. I would like Santosh to come upon and, just give a heads up and, introduce. Santosh, you there? Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, thank
Hey,
you,
Santosh.
Afroz. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi Santosh, hi Afroz. Good evening.
Hello, hello. Yeah,
So, yeah, thank you. Whoever it was means a lot. So, as Afroz told about me, my complete name is Santosh Biradar, and currently I'm a programmatic consultant, as Afroz is, and I've worked with Cognizant, Google, and some agencies, as you can see on the slide here. And few of the clients which I've worked with are Planet Fitness, Walmart, Verizon, Pernod Ricard, and many more. But we could not accommodate all of them here, so we have just listed out few of them. So my journey in programmatic, I would say it was quite interesting because until and unless uh, I worked with Afroz, I was not knowing about programmatic. To be frank, I was into digital marketing. I was working on Google Ads, Search Ad 360, and a few other tools such as Facebook in social marketing as well. But Afroz has introduced me to this programmatic domain altogether, and he has helped me to learn this uh, domain as well. And believe me, okay, it took me only 1 month. Okay, for sure, you have to put your efforts. Okay, Afroz or me, we can just guide you, but how much efforts you are putting yourself, that is more important, because uh, you have to deliver at the end of the day. Okay, we will be just your guides. Okay, but trust me,
absolutely.
you can crack it. You can crack it. That this is not a rocket science. Okay, and programmatic, to be frank, if I compare my previous tools like Google Ads or Facebook, I feel programmatic is bit easy compared to those tools. Yeah. So as we are here, you can make use of us and learn this awesome stuff which we are providing you, and hopefully you land in a good company with some good package. Okay. Yeah, that's about me. Hopefully these sessions would help you guys. Yeah, that's it. Over to you, Afroz. You can continue.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the lovely intro, Santosh. I was just, guiding you. The hardest path that you took, that was all on you. You are a quick learner, I would say. It's on you.
Yeah, yeah. That's humble of you, Afroz. But yeah, your efforts are very essential here.
All right.
Go to you, Afroz.
All right. Thanks, Santosh. If everyone is in, like, let's get started. This is the overview that I am showing you over here. Just confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, Afroz, I'm able.
All right. All right. Let's go then. So this is the UI that we will be working on. This is how the UI looks like. Towards the left, you have campaigns, audiences, creative, inventory, reports, resources, advertiser settings, and then history. So this is how the homepage looks like. Of course, I have hidden some of the areas to prevent confidential information to be shown. I have a few clients whose accounts I'm handling, so I have cropped down the screen just to show you the main area we'll be looking at. So this is how the campaign, the UI looks like. To give you an idea, let me show you the how the UI looks like, how the hierarchy runs in DV360. This would be quick, and then we'll jump into the UI. Let me open up a Google Doc. Give me a second. At any point of time, if you are not able to see the screen, just let me know, okay? So this is the hierarchy that I want you guys to know before we get started. The first thing that we have is a partner. And then we have an advertiser under a partner. We can have multiple advertisers as well. And then under an advertiser, you would have a campaign. And under a campaign, you would have an insertion order. And under an insertion order, you would have a line item. And then inside the line items, you would have creatives assigned. So this is the hierarchy. One difference when it comes to YouTube lines is after the line item, you would have an ad group as well. All right. Under an ad group, you would again have an ad. This is for YouTube. This is for rest all of the campaigns that we set up, and only for YouTube we have a slight different setup. All right. So let me show you quickly how to get started and create a campaign over here. I am on the campaign section, and if you can see, we have an option to create a new campaign, set a selected time frame, and then you also have an option to upload SDFs, and which is used to create campaigns in bulk. Of course, we are not going to do that, but to give you an overview, this is the functionality. Using SDFs, you can create multiple campaigns at once. Huge advertisers who have a lot of campaigns going on use this feature. All right, and then you have an option to sort the campaigns which are live, completed, paused, and archived. So whichever ones you want to, pick up, you can just apply the filter. All right. So we don't have any campaigns over here. This is a test account. So let me get started and click on a new campaign. All right. So once I click on a new campaign, this is the screen that would appear. All right. And if you notice, you have an option to enter the name of the campaign and then the status of the campaign. Usually, while building the campaign, while setting up the campaign, I would set it to paused state to make sure we don't incorrectly set up something and make it live. All right. So this is where you enter the campaign name. Let me just uh, enter something over here. Let's assume that we are going to create a campaign for a test campaign. All right. So test 1, 2, 3. All right. Ideally, the taxonomy would be in such a way that it would include name of the country and the goal that we are running this campaign for, and then the year of the date of the campaign and things like that. Differs from agency to agency, company to company, but then normally there would be a structure, a taxonomy structure, which would be followed by agencies to name a campaign. They don't want to randomly name a campaign with just one or two words. They want a complete structure to be followed to identify uh, campaigns. All right. But here, as an example, we'll just go with test 1, 2, 3. And then if I scroll down, you have an option to select the goal. All right. So this is the interesting part. This is where you select what you want to achieve for this campaign. You have an option to select raise awareness of my brand. All right. And then you have an option to select drive online action or visits, which is traffic. And then the third option is to uh, keep a track of the offline conversions. Like let's say that a company has a brick and mortar business, which is offline. They want to keep a track of their sales. So this is the option that we choose. All right. And then the last option we have is to drive app installs or engagements. All right. So based on the client's requirement, we would be choosing this. And then for now, let's go with brand awareness or raise awareness of my brand. All right. And when it comes to brand awareness, the KPI that we would select, if you're not sure what the KPI is, it indicates a key performance indicator. Like, what are you willing to optimize this campaign for? Are you willing to optimize this campaign for a CPM or a CPA or a CPC or CTR? So what is your ultimate goal is ultimately what you'd be choosing here. All right. So let me select CPM over here. All right. And uh, like if it's a YouTube campaign, all right, video campaign, then we would be selecting CPV option, which would give us a track of cost per view. All right. And cost per CPM is cost per thousand impressions, cost per milli, which is how we calculate the rate or all right across display and video campaigns. Also, you have an option to select viewable percentage. This what would this mean is on the screen, how much percentage of the ad is visible. All right. Let's say that you have opened up youtube.com and you're watching a video, but then you're reading comments and then the whole video is not visible. So you would be only looking at 20% of the video. All right. So in that case, ideally the client would not want that. The clients would want at least 60 to 70% of the screen to be visible. All right. So which is why this is also very good KPI to keep a track of. And similarly, you have a few other KPIs which are not recommended. Generally, we don't use them, but depending on the scenario, we can also use them. One is CPA, which is cost per action, and then one is CPC, which is cost per click, one is CTR, which is cost per click-through rate. All right. So let's go with CPM for now. CPM, let's take it as €1. The advertiser account that we're working with is in euros. So let's go with €1. And then here you have an option to choose the type of creative that you want to work with. If it's a display, if it's a video creative, it's an audio creative. All right. So let's go with display as of now. All right. And then if you have video, you can choose video as well. But then let's go with video now. And here, how much are you willing to spend for this particular campaign is what you enter over here. Let's say we would want to enter spend around €10 for this campaign. Quite low, but then just to give you an example. All right. And then plan dates. Let's say you want to keep a track, I mean, start this campaign from tomorrow. And we select the tomorrow's date at the start date, and then at the end date, you would select the end date. All right. Which is pretty much self-explanatory. And this section is, describes the additional budget details, but this nobody touches. So it's not required actually. You can set the budgets at insertion order and line item levels. So you can leave this empty. All right. And after additional budget details section, you have frequency cap, which is set to no limit right now. But then if you want to limit the frequency to certain exposures per client, then you can do that as well. Let's say you have an ad for your business and you would only want to show your ad twice a week, then you have an option to set it up here. If people are watching your ad on YouTube, then they would only be shown ad 2 times per week if you set it up this way. Excuse me. Similarly, if you set it up to 2 exposures per lifetime, then throughout their journey throughout their journey, they would only be looking at your ad 2 times, which means that the ad would only be visible to them for 2 times uh, throughout the lifetime of this campaign until the campaign ends. which is January 31st. All right. And let's go with weeks, 2 exposures per week. All right. And then moving on, just to make sure everyone is following, just can you give a heads up over the chat box if you are able to follow? Just give me an yes in the comments. Hussein says yes. Just give me a quick yes, guys, if you're able to follow. Yeah, iPhone says yes. All right, how about others? Okay, Adnan says yes. Okay, Aisha says yes. All right, awesome. All right, then let's move ahead. So we have an inventory source. Here we would be able to select based on the, if it's a open auction deal, open auction inventory, or a, private marketplace deal, we would be selecting it over here. Like I mentioned you earlier, if we would like to set up this for open inventory, I mentioned earlier that there are 4 types of inventories, right? One is open auction. This inventory would be open throughout the market, all right? Any advertiser would be open to bid on this. And then you have private marketplace, where all the advertisers would be eligible to give their auctions in the marketplace. Anyone with the highest bid would win, all right? And then similarly, you have programmatic guaranteed, which is which is a one-on-one contract signed between 2 brands, all right? And similarly, you have preferred deal. So these are the 4 types of deals or inventory that you can select at the campaign level. So what you can do is, if you, right now we are going with open auction, all right? So since we are going with open auction, we would have to select public inventory, all right? This is how you select open auction and want to advertise the inventory for open auction, all right? 48 exchanges are shown over here. So like I mentioned you earlier, there would be ad exchanges. So these ad exchanges would again contain ad networks and then would have a lot of advertisers. So similarly, we have 48 of such ad exchanges selected here. So imagine the amount of inventory that we have available over here. This would include all the exchanges that are existing on the internet. That should also include Amazon, and then you have Pubmatic ad exchange, you have Xander, you have a lot of them. All right. So these would all come under this public inventory. And then if you want to select a particular preferred programmatic guaranteed or preferred deal, in that case, you would select the deal over here. All right. You would select the deal over here, but then right now we are going with public inventory, which is OMP, so I'll not select any deal. In case you're going with public in programmatic guaranteed, then you'd have to unselect these 48 exchanges and then only select that particular programmatic guaranteed deal. All right. Uh, so, and now you have groups over here. Groups are nothing but a bunch of ad exchanges that you want to put together, a bunch of deals or inventory packages that you want to put together. Let's say you have programmatic guaranteed deals from multiple advertisers, all right, multiple publishers. Then you can create a group of them and then apply it over here. All right, that is all about groups. And then moving on, we have targeting. All right, under targeting, you have demographics, geography, language, and brand safety. All right. So demographics, you can set it up based on your client's requirement. If you would want to target male or female, or the age group can also be defined. If you'd want to target people with of aged group, then you can select 45 to 65 plus, or based on your requirement, based on the product and category, you can just decide select it over here. All right. And then similarly, you have geography, wherein you can select the region or the country you'd like to advertise it to. If you'd want to target it to India, then you can select India over here. All right. So now India is selected. If I similarly, if I select United Kingdom, the whole country would be applied and the ad would be visible to the United Kingdom, the whole country. All right. And then similarly, you have languages setting as well. If you want to target this ad only to a particular group of people, then you have this option to select languages as well. And then ultimately, you have an option under targeting, which is brand safety. All right. So under brand safety, what you can do is when it comes to brand safety, let me just give you a heads up. The brands don't want to show their content on websites, or content which is not in favorable of their brand. Let's take an example that let's take an example of Nike. All right. Nike don't want to they want to build their reputation of the brand online. They want to make their presence online to be really well. So they prevent their they want to make sure they don't advertise their product on content which is not appropriate. Like if the content is related to alcohol, then they would refrain from advertising on that particular content. Blogs which are related to alcohol or things like that. So in order to keep a check of that and make sure the brand safety is followed, you have an option over here to apply filters and make sure that the category on that category the ad would not be shown. Like if you see, there are a lot of sensitive category exclusions. If you want to prevent it to be shown on certain type of exclusions, you can just select them and then apply. If you want to select all of them, in that even that is possible. All right. Right now I've selected alcohol and politics. All right. So let's move ahead. Let me click on ad targeting. You have viewability, environment, and positions which are not applied. If you would want to apply a viewability as well, like I mentioned you earlier, viewability is the portion of the screen that is visible to the user. If you would want the user to see more than 70% of the ad, then you can select this option. All right. And then environment, if you'd want to specifically target this inventory only on app, then you can select app and uncheck web. If you'd want to show this inventory on web and not on apps, then you can uncheck apps. For now, we'll not select anything, and then based on the position that you'd want the ad to be shown, you can select it. Display above the fold, which means that once the website loads, the ad would be above the headline. All right. That can be classified as above the fold. But then if you want the ad to be shown in the mid of the campaign or after the campaign, then you can select below the fold. All right. Similarly for YouTube video also, you have an option to select. For video, similarly, you have three options: pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-roll. Pre-roll is the video which you notice when you open up a video on YouTube. The moment you open a YouTube video, you would see an ad, right? Sometimes, which can be skippable, and sometimes it will not be skippable. So those are pre-rolls. Before starting of the ad, when someone ad appears, that is pre-roll. And when an ad appears in between the content, which abruptly comes up between the content, that is a mid-roll. And once the video content is over, then the ad which appears is post-roll. Similarly, you have different kinds of positions that you can select where only your ad would be shown if you select that. All right. And ultimately, you have an option to give landing page URLs and keywords, but then this is optional, so you can just ignore this. But if you want to give it, then based on the advertiser requirement, you can just give it. All right. And the keywords also you can just it's optional, so you can ignore it. And now ultimately I'll click on create. All right. I'll click on create. We are only left with 5 minutes of free Zoom meeting. So I think if the call, gets abruptly cut, then please make sure to join it again, because on Zoom meetings, the meetings would be of only 40 minutes in the trial version. And once the 40 minutes are over, the call would get disconnected. All right. So if at all the call gets disconnected, just try to join back again. All right. We have successfully created a first campaign, only the campaign. All right. You can see it under campaign settings. If you notice, this is what we created. All right. This is done. And if you notice in the history, it would show who has done it. All right. And let me go back to campaign. And now here you have an option to create insertion orders and line items. Like I mentioned you earlier, the hierarchy is in this manner. First, there would be a partner, advertiser, campaign. So we are up till here. The next thing is to create an insertion order and then line item and then add creatives. All right. We'll do insertion order now, and then Santosh will cover up line item and then add group. These two Santosh will take up. All right. And then let me get started and create a new insertion order. Click on new and then click on insertion order. And now you have 4 options over here. All right. Based on your requirement, you can choose any of the option. All right. If you're setting up a line item or a insertion order which should be served on open exchange, then you can select this option. If you would want your ad to be shown in a sequence, let's say that a few advertisers have a particular requirement. Let's say Nike, they want to show up an ad in a sequence. First, they would want to show a certain ad, and then the second ad would be in a different way, which would be continuation of the first ad, and then third ad. Similarly, if they want to do that, achieve that, then they can rely on this option. All right. And then the third option is connected TV and OTT streaming. So we all are using streaming a lot of content on connected TV, right? Which is like Amazon Fire Stick or be it Apple TV. We are consuming a lot of content, and if the advertiser wants to advertise on that content, they have to choose this option. All right. Yeah. And you also have an option to advertise your content on OTT streaming, which is uh, streaming services like Disney. So you can Disney and Hulu, you can advertise on that as well. And you choose this option. And the last option is very interesting. This is a recent development. This wasn't available earlier. All right. What used to happen? I mean, when you go out of your home, like you might have seen a lot of boardings which are of digital screens, and then you see a lot of ads on them, right? When you go to subway or somewhere in the city, you might have noticed a lot of screens wherein the ads come up. Earlier, that wouldn't be digital, but then now they have made it digital. So you now have an option to advertise on that uh, boarding throughout the world using DV360. Just crazy, right? You can advertise on, I think you can also advertise on uh, Times Square in New York as well using this option, which is really cool. All right. So these are the 4 options. Let's go with real-time bidding for now, which is because we want to set it up for open auction. All right. So let me name the insertion order. I'll name the insertion order as test 1 to 3, and then select your budget type if you would want to set up a budget or set a number of impressions that you want to cover. For now, we'll go with budget because we only have 10 euros of budget for this campaign, for this test campaign. All right, so let's go with that. So this, similar to what we have entered in campaign settings, we'll be entering the settings over here. But then a few things would be additional, a few settings would be different. All right. And then you have an option to select the pacing of the flight. All right. So when it comes to flight, the pacing would be defined in 3 ways. Like you have an option. You, let's say that you have a budget of 10 euros, and then the duration of the flight starts from Jan 19 to Jan 31st. All right. This is the flight duration. All right. From 19 to 31st, this is what we call as flight. And then if you would want to run this budget ASAP, all right,